problem. He got a serious
You
problem.
know, I think we've struggled with this. Many theorists have struggled. Why are white people? Why do they seem to have such antagonism toward African American Afrophobia? Why is that such a deep-seated part of their psyche? You know, Francis Cress Welsing speculates that it's a genetic impulse, that they sense their genetic extinction because of black people's powerful genetic influence.
Okay.
Linked to the age of exploration, when these Europeans would go to other nations, other countries, other continents, and see darker people and have sex with their women, they would notice that their children were dark.
Yes.
They weren't light. So they began to understand that they couldn't, you know, they would be wiped out if they allowed this kind of sexual miscegenation to go on. And so they developed this notion, this notion of genetic extinction. It's a fear of genetic. This is Francis Cress Welsing's theory as to why they hate black people, because they fear their own extinction in black people. They see it in black people, and so they fear that. It's become a psychological pathology. And then there's others, you know, there's the famous Yaqub theory, right?
Nation of Islam, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
You know, so I mean, but there are people who have tried to figure out, you know, the sun people, ice people theory, that black people evolved in the sun where there was abundance. We didn't develop those kinds of aggressive tendencies. White people evolved in an area where there was sparse resources, and so they developed a very aggressive nature in order to secure the resources. And when these two sensibilities came into proximity, the ones with the aggressive nature took over. And so that's another thing.
Okay, you know, I can remember seeing pictures of black men and black women being lynched. And what I would like to ask you is, those pictures can be photo enhanced. Perhaps some of those people are living right now, perhaps. It's like the Jewish people. They have Nazi honors that will go around. How come we didn't have that in the African American community, that had those photos enhanced?
Don't say we didn't.
I've
heard stories of brothers who did do that.
Tell us. And I'm talking about do what the Jewish people did to hunt down the individuals that, after the pictures are photo enhanced, be found and prosecuted. Why?
Well, listen, a lot of those families are just gone.
Okay.
But then there the main thing that spurred up was that was more or less festered for, should I say, to place fear. It's like a bunch of gangs in the neighborhood, and they're able to maintain the neighborhood through a psychological principle of fear. Fear is very powerful means of control. It has no chains. There's no physical chains, but the chains are in the mind. And that was just a means of control. I mean, if you look at some of what the Nazis did to the Jews, or you can go to what the Japanese did to the Chinese and Nanking. I mean, you talking about that's something universal if you want to look at it. In a true sense, it's just to impair fear into the people where they have less control. In other words, I don't have to have a gun to watch you no more. I don't have to have a man with a whip to watch you no more, because this fear changed the mind. When I've lynched you, I've done all types of cut your penis off. It's just all types of stuff. It's like the ICE is what they did. They chop off people's head. Why did they do that?
But what I'm asking is, why didn't we have hunters like the Jewish people have to go?
I just got to answer that. It's fear.
Okay. Fear.
Fear paralyzes you. Somebody come to you with a gun and say, "Get out that car." Yeah. You're so paralyzed with fear, you automatically you do what you know, and that's the problem is fear.
Black people didn't have any alternative value system when we came here.
That's right.
We were totally surrounded by white supremacist doctrine and ideals. We didn't have any sanctuary. Maybe the church acted that, but that was tainted by white supremacy as well.
But that's all psychological. There was no place that you could go physically.
No, exactly right. So we were absolutely helpless and vulnerable.
Okay.
And so we had to figure out other ways of surviving and retaliating. There were some people who did that. Was really extraordinary. Think about it, what they had to fight through in order to have that kind of mindset. We were absolutely surrounded by white supremacist institutions and psychological conditioning. So it was very difficult for
That's
us
right.
to
And
maintain.
think about the American Indians here.
Yeah, they.
See, about the only place that America, people could go was probably to the Indian reservation there.
Right, that's right. And many of us did do that.
Exactly.
We took sanctuary there.
Senator Kirk, when he was senator, he had come up with a bill to find the GDs and the gangster disciples to have them prosecuted. But why didn't he come up with a bill to have whites prosecuted that belong to these groups? Damn, we only got 3 minutes left. So we're going to do a part 2. But you know what? I'm going to give y'all the finishing comments because there may have been something that y'all wanted to say that I didn't give you a chance to say. So you could tell, what show you come on, what time you come on. And so we start with Dr. Lee Warren.
Okay. I have a show called PLEM, the Power Laden Man. It comes on every Wednesday from 8:30 to 9:30. That's every Wednesday on Channel 36, CAN TV. And it's reshown from Thursdays from 10:30 to 11:30. And we have lectures in Hyde Park there at the Lutheran School of Theology. And it's every Sunday from 2:30, but call the PLEM lines. That's 773-509-8124. Again, that's 773-509-8124.
Okay, that may have been something you wanted to say and give you information.
Well, no, every Saturday night, 7 to 10, WVON, 1690. And check out In These Times if you get an opportunity. It's online, inthesetimes.com. And Salim Muwakil, I have a wide, au revoir, I guess you can say, of journalism and columns and stories that I've done over the years. You can check them out.
Okay, and you know what? I want to thank y'all. We're going to do a part 2. And I want to thank, both of y'all for, accepting the invitation to come on the Underground Railroad television show.
Thank you, man.
And assalamu alaikum to everybody. And we come on every Saturday night at 10:30. But you can see both of these gentlemen on YouTube. And we come on 7 days a week, 24 hours a day on YouTube. So assalamu alaikum to everybody. Thank you.
There are 3 truths: the dreadful bitter truth, your truth, and the Clifton Broadley Underground Railroad's truth. We as the media, mission and duty is to make you aware of what's happening in our city, community.
All aboard, come on up Clifton, and beat the drums.